We will continue with the introduction from last time. 46 of the Little Polar Bear series. Teaching children the courage to face difficulties. This series of books is suitable for older children to read, with more text, but younger children will still love this natural and simple little polar bear. He helps a walrus escape from a hunter's plane, accidentally drifts to the equator, and helps a little tiger find his way home. Apart from telling children about a world of ice and snow that is completely different from our own, it also teaches children about friendship, and most importantly, it teaches children about courage. 47. Grandpa. Using an empty sofa to represent death. A very light story, detailing the daily life of a grandpa and his granddaughter, with the granddaughter even asking if grandpa can die later. But how do you explain death to a child? This book does it with just one picture. The granddaughter sits quietly, staring at an empty sofa. It turns out that death is disappearance and never seeing each other again. Many parents cry when they see this picture. 48. Growing up to be a good grandpa. Causing a headache and crying with a baby while reading this book. The little bear goes to see his grandpa every Friday and plays in the treehouse with his grandpa. One day, grandpa gets sick and passes away forever. A very simple story, but it causes tears when reading it with a child, and it can actually be heartwarming and touching. If you don't want such a sad story, you can read Grandpa Always Knows What to Do. 49. Juby's Life Story series. Although it's a French picture book, it's super down-to-earth. In terms of art style, this series can be considered simple, but there's nothing you can do. Kids love it, because Juby, this 3-year-old little penguin, is greedy, angry, does stupid things, and doesn't want to share. It has all the shortcomings of a child. The advantage of this series is that it's extremely down-to-earth, although it's French. For example, in one book, Juby wants to pee. The mother buys a chamber pot for Juby, so that when he wants to pee, he can use the chamber pot and then carefully take it to the toilet to empty it, otherwise it will spill. 50. The Block House. Both adults and children will be touched by the emotions in this book. Have you seen the animated film Memories of the Block House? This is a picture book adapted from the animation. The sea level rises, submerging the small town and rising, and the residents can only build new houses on top of the original ones, layer by layer, just like building blocks. There's an old man who only has photos for company, and he has to retrieve the tools that have fallen to the lowest level, diving down layer by layer, and as a result, all the memories in those photos are opened up. It touches adults with the emotions of these memories, and children can understand that some things remain precious even after they have passed. 51. Little Willie charges ahead. Answering the question, how did I come into the world, for the baby? All children will ask their parents, how did I come into the world, and parents nowadays will be very open in answering this question. This book is definitely the best teaching material for this question, as after reading it, there's no need to come up with lines on your own to answer this question. The little Willie in the book faithfully reenacts the entire process of a sperm becoming a girl with his first effort. The little sperm participates in a swimming competition, complete with a race number and a map. 52. Learning to Love Oneself series. Teaching children to protect themselves from the age of 3. This series includes Don't Touch Me Casual, Don't Kiss Me Casual, and Don't Walk with Strangers Casual. It emphasizes the importance of self-protection to children from a young age. This series can be defined as a toolbook, as it can teach children to bravely express their opinions, what to do when they meet strangers, and which parts of their body are not to be touched by others. However, some parents have warned that this series may not be suitable for children under the age of 3, as the viewpoint of, just because someone praises you doesn't mean they really love you, may damage their newly established worldview and sense of security. However, this series should be read to them by the latest, before they independently enter school. 53. The Wolf's Chicken Stew. The big bad wolf is too embarrassed to eat mother hen. How could this be? The big bad wolf originally wanted to fatten up the mother hen and then catch her to make a stew, so he often made delicious food and gave it to the hen. However, the wolf was moved by the kisses of the little chicks, and felt that it was really embarrassing to eat them. The weak in fairy tales always use kindness to overcome evil. What's rare is that each character is well-rounded and not stereotyped. In the eyes of children, the ending should be like this, even though they also love eating stewed chicken. 54. I Want to Eat a Child. In the fairy tale world, all carnivorous animals have become good. Little crocodile doesn't want to eat bananas today, he wants to eat a child, but is teased by a little girl. So he decides to eat bananas instead, then grow strong, and then eat the child. For a crocodile, this is a very inspiring story. Similar stories can be found in If the Fox and the Rabbit Said Goodnight to Each Other, Today is a Lucky Day, basically stories about carnivorous animals turning vegetarian, and they are quite fun. 55. Oh no, I have stripes. Courageously standing out from others. If others don't accept you, will you conform or persist? In the story, Camila encounters a terrible event. She gets covered in stripes all over her body because she didn't dare to admit that she loves to eat green beans, which everyone else dislikes. The cure. Eating the green beans she loves but dares not eat. So, the most important thing is to accept yourself. 56. Meatballs falling from the sky on cloudy days. Even brave children will love this story. We often say that pie falls from the sky, but this time it's meatballs falling from the sky. This is the ultimate dream of a foodie. Oh heavens, please allow me to be hit by a pizza. 57. Mr. Crow's Bakery. A very lively, very happy book. Mr. Crow's bakery's boss and his wife had 4 babies, and to take care of them, the business in the bakery was affected, making the family poorer and poorer. However, when the little crows grew up a bit, things took a turn, and their bread began to be popular again. They invented pencil bread, cactus bread, piano bread, crocodile bread, and saw bread. The scene became bigger and bigger, very interesting. Listening to this story, children will understand that their parents really have it tough, and will be willing to help their families. Japanese picture books have this kind of inspirational function. 58. Frederick. Where is the Field Mouse? Clearly a poet. The author Leo Lionni is a big name in the children's book world, having won the Caldecott Award 4 times. This book looks very simple, but it is full of poetic beauty. It tells the story of when the little field mice are gathering food for the winter, only Frederick is pondering to himself. When asked why he's not working, he says that he is also gathering things for the winter, but not corn, nuts, or wheat. Instead, he's collecting sunshine, colors, and words. The field mice think he's crazy, but when winter comes, long and cold, and Frederick brings out what he has collected, they feel particularly warm and cozy, driving away loneliness. 59. The Little Flower on the Wire. Looking at war from the perspective of a little girl. A kind German girl during World War II risks her life to take food to a prisoner of war camp. The story is about a girl who looks at war and humanity from the perspective of a little girl, and it's a very big theme. The book uses illustrations and simple sentences, so there's no need to worry that children won't understand. It can help children understand that some evils are beyond the reach of fairy tales, teach children how to destroy and rebuild, and teach children what kind of mindset they should have. Although it depicts the darkest period of war, the color is not dark, and it still has sunlight. 60. The Flying Box. The box takes us to a world of boundless creativity. This is not a very popular picture book, but I really like it because the pictures are so imaginative. A father gives his son a TV, and the son flies away in the box it came in, entering a 2-dimensional world, where a snowman in a top hat stands on the roof, turtles have candles on their backs, light bulbs hang from the sky, apes sit in a boat fishing for bananas, pigs fly happily in outer space, and fried eggs grow wings and think they're birds. I want to live in that chaotic world, that rule-breaking world, that world bursting with creativity. 61. The Adventures of Naughty Princess. Subverting fairy tales, a princess who doesn't get married, so cool. Why do all princesses have to live happily ever after with a prince? What if the princess doesn't want to get married? In the case of parental pressure to marry, the princess holds a marriage challenge, and all the princes fail the test, except for the handsome one. The princess kisses him, and he turns into a toad, so the princess can live a life of singlehood. Why don't people like getting married? That's what the author intended, to show that everyone's needs, feelings, and definitions of happiness are different. 62. Martina series. If you have a baby girl at home, you must get this right away. Look at the little Belgian girl's life and different aspects. As long as your mindset is calm, our daughters can also live such a graceful and elegant life. 63. My Friend's Book, about a little mole who wants to know who pooped on my head. Hilarious. It's basically a complete guide to animal poop. A little mole's head gets pooped on, and he goes to find the culprit. Each animal, in order to prove their innocence, shows their poop to him, making it a complete guide to animal poop, very hilarious. However, poop and pee are a bit too extreme, so parents with a more delicate sensibility may not be able to accept it. 64. The Mischievous Princess Won't Get Married. Subverted fairy tales, a princess who doesn't want to get married, how cool. Why does every princess have to live happily ever after with a prince? What if the princess doesn't want to get married? When pressured by her parents to get married, the princess holds a marriage competition, and all the princes fail, except for the handsome one. The princess kisses him, and he turns into a toad, so the princess can live a life of singlehood. Why don't people like getting married? This is the author's intention, that everyone's needs, feelings, and definitions of happiness are different. 65. Sophie's masterpiece. Spiders can also be very cute. 66. Martine series. If you have a baby girl at home, you should get this series right away. Take a look at the bits and pieces of life of this little Belgian girl. As long as we have a peaceful mindset, our daughters can also live so gracefully and elegantly. 67. My friend's book, about a little mole who wants to know who pooped on my head. Hilarious. It's basically a complete collection of animal poop. A mole gets pooped on its head and goes to find the culprit. Each animal, in order to prove their innocence, shows their poop, which is just a complete collection of animal poop. Very funny. However, poop and pee might be a bit too much for some parents with a delicate sensibility. 68. The naughty princess who won't get married. Subverting fairy tales, a princess who doesn't want to get married. How cool. Why do all princesses have to live happily ever after with a prince? What if the princess doesn't want to get married? In a forced marriage situation, the princess holds a martial arts competition for suitors, and all the princes from different countries fail the challenges, only the handsome to the extreme one passes. After the princess kisses him, he turns into a toad, and so the princess can live a single life forever. How can anyone not like getting married? This is exactly what the author intended. Everyone's needs, feelings, and definition of happiness are different. 69. Mr. Squirrel on the First Snow. Very funny. Are snowflakes toothbrushes or smelly socks? Mr. Squirrel and his friends don't know what snowflakes look like. They heard that snowflakes are white, wet, and cool, so they think toothbrushes, canned bottles, and smelly socks are snowflakes. What would it look like if toothbrushes, canned bottles, and smelly socks fell from the sky? 70. The Witch's Broomstick Party. A kind and straightforward witch with a magic wand, riding on a broomstick for a journey, helped by a frog, a little dog, and a little bird. The witch promises to travel together with them, but then they encounter a big dragon. There's another book about a witch, My Mom is Really Troublesome, where the witch mom is quite extreme, with a snake on her hat, giving the kids caterpillar cakes. Open-minded parents can let their children read it. 71. Sophie's masterpiece. Spiders can also be very cute. 72. Ah Chio and Ah Hu. Children believe that the toy fox will protect Ah Chio. This is a story about friendship and adventure between a toy fox and a little girl. The author never tells the readers that Ah Hu is just a toy fox. Children who read this book all know that Ah Hu is a toy given to Ah Chio by her grandmother, but they still believe that Ah Hu will protect Ah Chio. I know you're not real, but I still choose to believe in you. This is also a kind of innocence, right? 73. Little Snowflake. It turns out that snowflakes choose where they want to land. I recommend this book because I like it myself. I like its new interpretation of snowflakes. Have you ever thought that snowflakes don't just randomly fall, they choose where they want to land? Some like the lake, some like the roof, some like a person's nose. A good story can change your view of a small detail in the world. This picture book has a very poetic language. It is extremely beautiful prose. 74. The Runaway Little Engine. Train enthusiasts will definitely like it. This is the work of the author of The Little House, with a very unique style. It tells the story of a little engine running away from home and experiencing adventures, encountering troubles. Train enthusiast kids will definitely love it. There are many picture books with trains as the theme, such as Run, Little Train, Train Station in a Day, Please Let Me Stay on the Train, and The Train is Going to Depart, and so on. The most professional subway-themed picture book is The Subway is Under Construction, which is full of construction engineering terms. 75. The Late King. The little boy John McRonan Mackenzie always encounters absurd and bizarre things on his way to school, causing him to be late, but the teacher doesn't believe him and punishes him to copy hundreds of times. What will happen when the teacher encounters something strange and asks for help? A book about trust, how can it be so humorous? The teacher's explosive and exaggerated appearance is especially funny. The picture books by author John Birmingham are all classics, and I also recommend his Borka, Sally, Stay a Little Further Away, What I Say. 76. Pirates Don't Change Diapers. Ruthless pirates taking care of a baby. From the title, you already know that this is a humorous book. If a group of ruthless pirates have to take care of a baby, what will happen? What? Do they also have to change the baby's diapers? The story is a bit absurd and it is a sequel to Don't Be a Pirate. These two books can be compared side by side.